Kamala Harris voters, I'm going to make you feel good, understand what's really going on. So pay attention, my fellow liberals and leftists. It is April 19, 2025, and there's a lot of great news I'm going to unpack. Now, make sure that you subscribe here. Please subscribe here. Also, I got two private groups I'm putting together. Both of them are paid private groups. One is for clarity, to understand in depth what I'm about to say. I don't give news. I give analysis and assessments of what the news is. So I'm telling you what that means to us as liberals and Kamala Harris voters, Democratic voters, okay? People in the blue. In addition to that, I have another group called Liberal Moneymakers that's coming in too, another paid private group that's about how do you make money in the Trump era online. I've been teaching that for 20 years. That's what I actually do. I haven't had a job in 20 years, thank God, I'm blessed to say, and I'm teaching you how you can do it too, just from your knowledge, skills, talent, experience. I've taught people anywhere between 20 and in their 70s. So don't think for 1 second I can't teach you. If you want to know about that, DM me, okay? DM me immediately because I'm going to be opening up those groups secretly this weekend right now. Now, here's the good news. I'm going to blow your mind with this, and I'm very happy about that. By the way, DM me sometimes. If some of you, if you can't DM on YouTube, for instance, all you got to do is go to my website, darrenmonroe.com, and email me, okay, in case anybody has any DM direct message issues. Here's the thing. First of all, I want to give you the formula like I do all the time. Then I want to go ahead and walk back what has just happened over the last 2 weeks that makes me so happy and you should get excited about, okay? So first of all, let's talk about the formula. The formula is what I now call PSPC, okay? And that stands for Playbook, Score, Psychology, and Challengers. I'll explain that. Playbook is, hey, Trump's playbook is to fight in the lower courts. They lose, go to appeal, go to Supreme Court, right? But he's really messed himself up with that, and I'll explain in a moment. Then there's the score. Right now, he's 3-50. He just had his 50th loss, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And it was a major one through the Supreme Court. And then psychology. He only says things for two reasons: to project strength, like, oh, Garcia's never coming back, which means he's probably coming back. Good chance. I'm very happy about that. Or he manipulates. I want a third term, which means don't pay attention to how horrible the economy is and that signal gate. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. The deportations aren't failing. No. So now that we know his psychology, we know the playbook, the score, the psychology. Now we got to look at the challengers. Who are our challengers? Our challengers in the Democratic is not Congress. Congress did okay. Here's the thing about Congress, Democratic Congress. They're great as individuals. Like that Val Holland went out there to see about Garcia. Great job. Corey talking in the 25th hours for all of the issues and concerns that American people have with all this GOP Trump administration mess. Great job. When you talk about Crockett, when you talk about Ayanna Pressley, when you talk about Cesar Chavez, when you talk about AOC, those are great jobs as Democrats. But when they work together, they're dysfunctional. They're what I call a dysfunctional Wu-Tang. Dysfunctional Wu-Tang ain't nothing to with. You know what I'm saying? The Cream song is confusion rules everything around members. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying here is that the real Democrats are the 23 governors and the 23, within 23 states, blue states, almost half the union, that consists of the governor's office and the AG's, attorney generals. They've been fighting with us for the last 13 weeks. They've been preparing for this for the last 13 months. They are not effing around. They are really on it. The other group, and this is why they got a big loss, how Trump got his 50th loss, was the ACLU and other nonprofits. And I'll explain that in a minute. And then the last one is the judges, which again brought that 50th loss. Here's what's happened. Here's the news. This is why this playbook is so strong and why we're winning, and I'm so excited about it. I basically pre-told a couple of weeks ago that ruling that the Supreme Court made for Donald Trump to have the Alien Enemies Act, I said, you know what? And no other leftist got it. I was hoping like the major news people or even like maybe New York Times Opinion or somebody would grasp this, and they didn't. They just reported it. Oh, well, that's happened. That's why I'm starting my own private groups, particularly with this one, with the Clarity group I'm referring to, because I'm giving assessment and analysis. It ain't about the news. It's about what that means to us as liberals and what it means to us as blue voting people or people who are Kamala Harris voters, okay? So definitely either DM me or go to darrenmonroe.com and contact me. Here's what the big deal about this is right now. I said, wow, this loss that we had with them approving the Alien Enemies Act has a caveat to it that nobody's paying attention to, especially the Trump administration. What they said was, yeah, you can do the Alien Enemies Act as long as you have habeas corpus. What's that mean? Due process of the law. If you don't do due process of the law, we're going to have problems. And I said 2 weeks ago, this is a setup. This is going to get them. They're going to be in trouble. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. And sure enough, they're in trouble. Here's what happened. First of all, last weekend, they thumbed their nose at the 9-0 decision. They kicked it down to the courts and said, hey, we don't care about the Garcia. We ain't bringing him back, yada, yada. So what happened? Paula Zenas, I always mess up names. Zenas is Greek. Judge Paula Zenas, Judge Paula Zenas said, oh, really? Okay, they kicked it down to me. Tell you what, we're going to do a 2-week exploratory on you being in contempt of court. And I said a couple of days ago, I said, the dumbest thing they could do is try to appeal that. And sure enough, they tried to appeal, and the appeal court said, oh, no, we're not going to micromanage another judge's decision, especially since you basically want to go up against the Supreme Court that ruled 9-0. It was the dumbest appeal ever, trying to delay it. Not going to happen. They are almost in contempt of court, and they're going there. And they're going to do an exploratory across 4 different departments: Homeland Security, Immigration, State Department, and what do you call it? I forget the one with the C. Basically, they're going to do that, and they are just going to, it's going to get ugly. And they're going to look ugly, and some people, heads are going to roll. Heads are going to roll. It's not going to be Trump, but heads are going to roll, which is a good start because it will curb them back real quick. The other thing that happened just happened at 1 a.m. today. And this is what I'm going to do. This is why I'm creating a private group, because I'm going to go deep into stuff like this. Here's what happened today. In literally 1 a.m. today. So the ACLU got alerted by their Venezuelan deportee people who were in Texas. First of all, they got moved from, I think it was Louisiana to Texas or whatever. And then they got nervous because they had stuff. They were given the right to contact and do habeas corpus and request it, but they were giving it to them in English. And many of them didn't speak English. But it gets better. Word got to the ACLU. ACLU got nervous. They went to Texas judges. They went to circuit court judges. They went to appeals judges. And all of them said, my hands are tied, because the judges they went to were right-leaning judges. They were all Trump voters or Bush or whatever have you, right? So they weren't doing anything. Sure enough, word got to the Supreme Court. You know, the same Supreme Court I said 2 weeks ago said, yeah, you got to do habeas corpus with that. And the Supreme Court ruled at 1 a.m., we're suspending Alien Enemies Act. Woo! And then it gets better because GOP gets mad. I don't believe this. This is wrong. This is treasonous. Really? You didn't say anything about him ignoring a 9-0 ruling last weekend, but you're going to jump on this? You traitorous sons of bitch. Listen, we're winning. Subscribe for more if you like what I'm saying. If you want to be part of the private groups, invite only, you can either DM me. If you can't DM me, like you're on YouTube or something, all you got to do is just go to darrenmonroe.com and contact me. Here's the thing. This is we're winning in a way that I'm going to go super deep in the clarity group about this. Okay, the moneymaker group is just about making money. If you're into that, definitely reach out to me. But the thing is, or if you're into both, reach out to me. But here's the thing: in the clarity group, I'm gonna talk in depth because this is brilliant. This is brilliant. We're winning. We're winning. It's a bloody win, but we're winning.